Welcome, 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 welcome to the Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rum.
Welcome to the Rum.
I'm Bryan.
And I'm Constantine.
And we are the Rum. I'm still trying to work out the delay. Like, we'll have to find out what timing it is, and then I can raise my face. Like, I can do some kind of signal, Constantine, and then we start at the same time.
We have like a quarter-second delay that just kills us every time. But being
awful.
On the other side of the world here,
yeah, that was mesmerizing. That was amazing.
Get some harmonies.
I do wish that we still sang the jingle, because before, for anybody who doesn't know, Constantine's amazing nephew Tyler created a wonderful jingle and all of that. And in the early days, we'd have to just hype ourselves up while our guests were sitting here going, "Why are we here right now? This is ridiculous."
Just singing it. But the thing is, though, it sort of got you in the mood, though, right? If you whatever you were doing before, it shifted your focus into the podcast mode, and now we just have to just
keep the momentum going. Yeah.
You guys just got to keep riffing on it. Just don't worry about it, right? There's a lot of room for creativity in that little jingle you got working.
I mean, we could flip it to every kind of musical genre. So we could get real Caribbean and have some calypso. We could jump down to Colombia, get some soca. We could do some cumbia.
Zydeco.
We can even get some banjo. We could banjo this thing and get real southern or bluegrass. Bluegrass isn't just southernness. I don't know. Anyway, this is not a podcast about music. This is a podcast about rum. And
you never know what you're going to get into the rum, though, right?
Well, that's true. But Constantine.
Yes.
We are back focusing in the continental United States.
Yeah.
And we have some amazing, amazing guests. So Constantine, tell us who we have.
Man, this has been a long time coming. Super excited. We've got, first of all, the project. I'll just name the project American Cane, right? So when you're talking about rum, I know we've done some other American producers on, but right in the name. I mean, you guys just hit it with the name. No bashfulness or anything. American Cane. So we love that. But someone that a lot of our listeners will know, Maggie Campbell, is here with us. Long history in rum. We've all been following her, and she's come into this project, and it's going to be awesome to hear about that. But we've also got Chaz and Darin on. Chaz and Darin, the founders, want to hear their story. And this is, I have a little connection here. I lived in Louisiana for about 5 years as a kid, used to go to LSU games and all that. Even though I'm a diehard Alabama fan, it's like my second SEC team there in LSU. But yeah, so let's just start off with the project. I'll throw it to you guys.
Wait, show and tell, Constantine.
Show and tell. Sorry,
we prepped our guests.
I get so excited. I missed the show and tell.
We went straight into.
Look, it's 9:00 in the morning. I've got Vai, which is another Fijian water.
Yeah, I mean, Constantine, we have to wine our guests a little bit before we get them talking. No dining. If this
what are you
was
guys
Wonka
drinking?
Vision. Yeah. Who's drinking what? Ladies first. Maggie, what do you got?
I just have club soda with bitters. It's my kind of go-to refreshing. I'm on Central Time. It's still, it's not quite golden hours, violet hour here. So
there you go. A word to the wise to our listeners. I'm going to take a quick deviation. So now getting into the bartending world, I've gotten really into soda waters and bitters. And I will say that there's a limit that you can have before the bitters in its diuretic properties will kick in. So if you are backed up, let's say, it's nature's broom. So just be careful how many of those you have, and we'll leave that there. All right, who's next?
Go ahead, Chaz.
It's hard to follow that up. So I have with me here a little moon gazer.
Ooh, there you go.
Nice.
I absolutely loved it. It's so delicious, and it was one of the first kind of crazier rums that I ever had. And it's pretty crazy. It's on the Versailles wood still.
Yeah.
Lots of notes of banana, little burnt rubber in there. I really like it.
Oh yeah! Shout out Raising Glasses. John and Laurie are awesome.
You guys know those guys, I think.
Sounds familiar.
And I've got just in my glass here a self blend Louisiana blend. I went and grabbed some aged rum from Sugarfield over in Baton Rouge and mixed that a little bit with some Cherami rum from Porch Jam, New Orleans, which is an unaged cane juice. So I got molasses, cane juice going, aged, unaged,
Nice.
Louisiana all round. Cooked it up.
Very cool.
Oh, that sounds lovely. I'll bring us home. So I am on a mission to try rum from every single country or region. So I'll have to ask you guys about this Belgian one later. Remind me if we have time. But right now, I am having Kakira. I'm not sure if I had to say this correctly, but this is a single estate distillery in Uganda. And sometimes you kind of try something and there's just a novelty of, oh, the Vanuatu Dead Reckoning, which actually is not a novelty. That is really good stuff. But the closest comp that I could say is it's 100% pot still, but it reminds me a lot of Chairman's Reserve. And everybody knows that I love me some Chairman's Reserve. 7-year, no adulteration from what I can tell. Anyways, this is low proof. And then I will have... to join you, Chaz, this is Dead Reckoning's The Black Pit, which is a blend of Enmore, Versailles, and Port Moran. And this is probably one of my favorite rums that I've tried this year. Any hoodles. Without further ado, though, we've done our show and tell. So cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
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 So, let's start with the biggest of big news, American Cane. And we're right back to where Constantine rudely tried to circumvent show and tell. He's just better that he's not drinking. But yeah, so let's just actually, before we even do this, our guests may or may not know who y'all are. So just quick round of who are you? And then we'll get into American Cane. But first, what's going on, guys? Would love to hear a little bit about all of you.
Cool. I'll kick us off. You guys, I think Maggie, you probably know a little bit more about than Chaz and I. So I'm Darin Vest, co-founder of American Cane. We've been at this for about a little over 3 years now. My day job is, I started off my career as an attorney. Now I'm sort of a real estate executive and entrepreneur, and work for a Fortune 500 company in my day job. And the passion project that I started a few years ago has turned into American Cane.
Awesome. Darin, great to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And I'm Chaz Vest. I am related to this guy. This is my father. I have been with American Cane for about a year. I'm also a co-founder, though I have not been at it for as long as Darin has. But I used to also have another day job. It wasn't as fun. I was a management consultant. And before that, I was a student at Brown University. But I'm through all that now. I'm luckily in a position where I get to work with family and get to work with an amazing team and get to bring American Cane to life. And that is my day job now, which is great to say.
Awesome.
Welcome.
And I'm Maggie Campbell, and some lady. Some lady. And I got my start originally around the craft whiskey community. I thought for the longest time I'd be doing rye whiskey back in the day. Went to Siebel Institute for Distillation Technology, and I worked for Germain Robin, fifth generation cognac family, doing craft spirits in wine country, California. Ended up going from there to Privateer Rum. And then from Privateer to a nice period of time of just kind of consulting and getting to work with a bunch of different projects while I made the transition to Barbados to go work at Mount Gay. And I've joined American Cane as of 4 months and 22 days ago. So.
Yeah, I remember the announcement, and everybody was just so energized. Yeah, Maggie's back. Yeah. And no shade. Barbados is, I'm imagining, one hell of a place to live. But welcome back stateside. And first and foremost, American Cane. So the three of you have got connected. How did this even happen? How did it start?
Want me to take that one first?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my rum journey started when I fell down a rabbit's hole of research, just understanding probably most people don't understand just the full history of rum and how it was tied to early America and the Caribbean sugar plantations and just understanding that research, the history. And then bringing that forward to where American rum is today, I just literally had this epiphany that like I wanted to make rum in the continental US again because we used to be the second largest producer of it in the world for like 200 years. And it was completely central to who we were as a people. And we've completely lost kind of the centrality of rum to American culture. And so I had this idea that I'm living in the Northeast. I'm in Rhode Island. We had 36 rum distilleries in Rhode Island at the heyday, 60 in Massachusetts. And everybody drank almost 4 gallons of rum a year. Right? So it was like that's kind of who we are as a culture. That rum was that important to us and to the world for a long time. And then I thought, figured out where we were today, which is that although we consume a dramatic amount of the world's rum for one place, we consume about 25% of the world's rum in the U.S. But today in the continental U.S. we produce less than 1% of it. And that eventually felt like a big ass white space market opportunity. Like I was like, wow. And so I started thinking I want to be a maker and start to make rum again in the continental U.S. and that's become this effort. And I just listened to the podcast that you guys had with Steve McGarry and talking about the Sydney rum distillery, but it's actually kind of a similar story and opportunity, right? There's like, how do you bring this country's rum to the world when you have this amazing history of rum? The difference, I think, with Australia and the US is that we just consume so much rum here. We have this economy and home marketplace that's robust. And so we're doing what all y'all are doing. We're trying to create momentum for rum in general and specifically for American rum, and have a brand that's strong and positioned, I think, to create some of that momentum, which I think is why Maggie joined us.
Oh, that's great. I mean, for me, like straight up, like I would fight for this, man. I mean, I have been ever since I read "And a Bottle of Rum" by Wayne Curtis, just going like, wait a minute, like 140 rum distilleries. Like there was Barbados rum at George Washington's inauguration. And it's just kind of like, I like telling people that only love whiskey and rum. I'm like, well, what's more American? Is it the cowboy drinking bourbon in the saloon, or is it George Mother in Washington drinking rum at his own presidential inauguration? I raise you. And so, yeah, no, I love that. I absolutely love it. And, you mentioned Maggie. So Maggie, I mean, given everything, American, leading one of the most awesome distillers that we all know, American yourself, seems like this was just an easy transition then, right? So like, how did this kind of come about? How did y'all get connected? Yeah.
It seemed like really perfect timing, and it was definitely like a longer journey. So a lot of people may not know that I first spoke to Darin about 5 years ago. And at the time, I was only working with like established producers. I'd been in the industry about 14, 15 years. I wasn't going to work with anyone who was like new to the industry at that time, but I loved his idea so much that I was like, no, I'll happily talk to him like just as a comrade for free. Like, I think this is really cool. I know some people he should speak with, et cetera, et cetera. And so he shared his ideas with me, gave some feedback. I think this logistics, I think this structure wise, et cetera. And, because he has such a strong business sense, it's not a hobby, it's a real, the thing that I really love is it's a really important business. And, as people say, I take myself too seriously sometimes, which I think is part of being a good distiller and a good blender, but he took it really seriously. And a year later, we touched base and he'd met really great people and grown his network and refined his ideas. And the way he was thinking about everything was really smart. And so essentially this just kept going on. We would talk about once a year. I'd share, he'd say, how are things in Barbados? And I'd talk to him about, some of the differences of living there and what I'd learned rum culture wise, just being in a different place and having a new perspective. And we just kind of kept this going. And, now he's got 5 years of experience working on building this business. He's not new to the industry. And like you said, I feel so lucky to have my background, at Germain Robin, a 30-year-old craft distillery, having old stocks, having old inventories, managing old barrels and long-term blends, like was a huge opportunity right at the start of my career. A lot of people, especially who start distilleries, don't get to work with older product or see that landscape and maturity. Then I went and did more of the startup vibe. And then, going to Mount Gay, the oldest running rum distillery in the world, in the heart of Barbados, the first like real Caribbean country to produce rum. I know, controversial, but also not controversial. So for me, it was like I've gotten to see a lot of different phases and had so many amazing experiences with great people. But like you said, I wasn't done with American rum. I wasn't done with it. The community welcome coming back has been so incredible. It just shows me like I get so much energy from it. Things with Darin and Chaz have flown. They've just flowed so easily. It's just I'm where I'm supposed to be. The energy is right. It's going great. And the first time I got to meet Chaz and talk to Chaz and Darin in person, it was just like meeting them in person, hearing the intelligence of the business, the opportunity, and like us having, the perspective and skill we do as a group. I just felt like this is it. So it felt really good.
It's awesome. Hearing this sort of the backstory there, American Cane just launched. We saw all the big, the website and everything, and everyone's like, oh, this new thing. But as you guys have said, I mean, there's no such thing as an overnight success, we know. But even just to get started, right? I mean, just the work that you guys have already put in, the 5 years of conversations. But now you've done something interesting. Chaz is here. Chaz is your son. Yeah. Growing up, Greek family business, and what was pounded into my head by my uncles and my dad: never do business with family. You guys are going against that, and father-son team. Just Chaz, talk us through how you decided to come on board. I mean, challenges, just the whole picture there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when he sat me down, he told me, you should join the team. We're building something awesome. I was like, let me think about that for a second. I remember what it was like bringing couches upstairs with you. Like, that wasn't a great experience. Like, we could work together. But no, it's been great. It's been about a year. I mean, I've always known that my dad had a great business sense, and he's been doing a lot of crazy businesses for a long time. And I never thought that I would join one of them until he approached me about this one. And I was like, this is a really, really good idea. And more than that, like, it's something that should exist. It's something that we really should do in this country, make great rum. Not saying that there isn't already some great rum out here, but we're going to make some pretty awesome stuff. So we're really excited about that. But yeah, no, so I was in the corporate world. I was doing consulting. I had graduated in 2022 from school. And it wasn't for me. I didn't love the idea of sitting behind a desk when there were really, really cool things to be built. When I was in school, I actually founded and ran a coffee and gelato shop. That was my first experience with kind of hands-on doing consumer products work. And it really brought me a lot of excitement, putting something together, making something by hand that people can enjoy. Kind of, to me, that feels like one of the greatest fulfilling experiences in life. So I was really, really excited to be able to join a team that was, actionably going to be making a delicious product for folks to enjoy. And hopefully that is the goal. At the end of the day, when people pick up our bottle, we want them to drink it and say, this is really good stuff.
Yeah. And I had no fear about joining a company that had family working together. I look at Leopold Brothers. They're the icon of American distilling, and they're an incredible family. And I've known Todd, it has to be about 20 years now. And he always said, family takes care of each other. When someone says, hey, I need a hand, the tone in their voice. And is this an emergency, or is it like a silly thing? Is it serious? Is it not? Like, you can communicate so effectively. And a lot of people don't know that my husband was the managing distiller at Privateer for 8 years. And we worked together great. So we really loved working together, and it went really well. And I think, people who are good at relationships are good at relationships, no matter what they are. So I had no fear working with a father and son.
Ask me in 8 years. We'll see if my answer.
That is, first of all, you guys both said really lovely things. So thank you. I appreciate that. If I could have said there's two people that I'd love to work in the rum business that I was trying to start, it would be like my son and Maggie Campbell. You can't kind of go wrong with those, I think. But yeah, to the point about we've got a longer term perspective on this, right? We're not trying to do something necessarily um, uh, quickly or rush through things. This is the spirits business. You got to build a foundation that makes sense. You've got to come to market in a way that's sustainable, particularly when we have the kind of financing markets that we have right now, which are challenging throughout spirits and other industries. So we've had to think really deeply about what's the smartest way, what's the most conservative way that we can start this business for the long term to be successful. Bringing on a CEO like Maggie was a huge step, right? We've also had some success raising funds so far. We're still in the fundraising stage because we do plan to kind of grow and expand, and we're tackling a bigger effort for the company than just a smaller craft distillery. And so there is in our future, in our near-term future, a distillery build, which is going to be a larger scale facility in the heart of Louisiana, where we should be making rum. We think about Louisiana as the next great spirit state in the U.S. You've got Kentucky that's putting $9 billion into the market for around bourbon, and in Louisiana, where we've got Caribbean environment aging, and we're the 11th largest producer of sugarcane in the world, in Louisiana, and that only happens in two states. Louisiana and Florida together are the 11th largest producing region for sugarcane in the world. So we've got this amazing sugarcane rum factory right in the heart of the country that is really just underutilized and hasn't really matured as a spirits producing state. So yeah, there's so much opportunity. We've got a great team that we've built. We're kind of being aggressive about the scale and what we're trying to achieve, which is, I think both of you have said in the past, and we all fight this battle about educating the consumer. And the education of the consumer is you can fight that battle kind of one step at a time, or you could do something that is broader, that has a bigger impact, that creates momentum, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I feel like the opportunity for American rum to be a standard category is wide open. I think of spirits categories I've seen emerge in my 20 years in the industry, and it's wild, when you thought back in the day, oh, if I'd asked you 15 years ago about this category, you would be like, oh yeah, that's not even a real thing. And then now it's something we all expect in every bar. So yeah, I think that opportunity is fantastic, and it's just, it's exciting. It's exciting to have something new, but also rooted in heritage. And to Constantine's point, we're pretty open and available for a new brand. Most people keep things really quiet and under wraps until everything's finally done. But I think it's cool for people to see how long it takes to do something like this. The 5 years Darin and I have been talking and Chaz and I have been in touch, you don't see that stuff, and the time it takes to plan, build a distillery, get product, et cetera, is really different. So, after I went to Mount Gay, I think a new product would come out 3 months after I got there, and they'd be like, oh, this must be Maggie. And I'm like, it's 6 years old, guys. No. And I think that perspective of time is just really, it's hard for the human brain until you do it. And I think it's cool to get to share it, and just be, bring everyone along for the journey. I feel I know this community so well. I love sharing. I'm kind of an open door person. I think it pushes us to grow and do better. And we get to hear what everyone thinks and feels, and it helps us become who we are. So I'm excited to be kind of out there with you guys, seeing it for the long-term project that it is.
Well, hell yeah, we're here for it. And so would be great, because Maggie, you've got a good lay of the land with the company now. So just for all three of you, where do things stand right now? You alluded to kind of where you guys want to go with getting a distillery and all that, but kind of what's the lay of the land now, and then what's the next couple of years look like? Obviously, no trade secrets or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just excited.
Yeah, we have a good roadmap. For phase one, we're actually gonna put out a rum I'm really excited for, and honestly, for me, it's something that I've really craved in the market and haven't seen. And I hope it answers a lot of questions. I think there's so many amazing Caribbean rums that take you on a journey, that you get to experience certain things. You know, you get this lighter style white rum and you make some amazing daiquiris. You get this funkier rich rum and you make, you know, these styles of drinks. But there really isn't like a North American go-to rum brand. When I think about like whiskey and Buffalo Trace is my staple. I always have it on my shelf. It's not the fanciest bottle I own, but like if I just want like a sunset drink, or I'm going to my aunt's house, or I have guests, or someone calls me and says, I just read an article about whiskey, what should I buy? Such an easy go-to. It's such a classic. When someone calls me from the rum aisle and says, I just read an article on rum, what should I buy? I'm like, okay, do I have 45 minutes? I would love to have this go-to delicious rum. It's super versatile, really well priced. It's not filtered through a million butterfly wings. It's not, fermented under the third full moon of the worm season or anything like that, which is amazing. You all know I walk that walk. I've got nothing to prove in that arena. I love producing very cool rums, and I will always continue to do so. And in American Cane, we've got great things coming. But I also feel like to be America's rum house, we have to have a lot of versatility. And I feel like there's totally room for that go-to bottle of just tasty, delicious, rum glow, warm hug, style of rum. So that's something we're working on right now. That should be out this summer, which is really exciting. Chaz and I, wow, we had a powerful week last week. The three of us finalized the blend maybe a month ago. It will not be under the American Cane brand, and it will not say American rum on it, because this is sourced with a bunch of our friends and rum family. So this will be something that we're working with people we really love, partnering up with, and should be out this summer, but it'll be like rum. It'll be tasty, delicious rum. And I'm really excited. It should feel hopefully really fresh for me. You know, when I go down the rum aisle, when I go to like the natural wine store, I see all these beautiful labels. And I go through these different parts of the store, I see all this stuff. And there's some great stuff in the rum aisle. I mean, no disrespect to our really good friends and family. But there's also a huge leaning on tradition, nautical, pirates, brown paper that looks like a map, and I would really love for someone to look at the shelf and be like, what the heck is that? When they see what we've got. Not so garish, but like, it looks good. You want to pick it up. You got to touch it. So that's phase one. Darin, do you want to talk about phase two?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say I'll add to that, and then you can talk about phase two. I think it's part of like growing the consumer base for rum is to give people a rum that's at that place in the market. It's like amazing value, right? Which is higher quality than people are getting, great price point, super tasty, very versatile, and have that come to market from an American company. And so it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. There's that accessibly priced brand, which we're not saying the name of, which is an amazingly cool brand that we came up with, which we know what it is, but we're doing the trademark work right now on it, so we won't tell you yet. But it's like the 1-2 punch of giving people that kind of accessibly priced everyday product, and then layering on top of that the rums that a lot of the aficionados will love from American Cane. And Maggie obviously has produced what I consider to be some of the best rums in the world already. And so I think that's going to be right in our wheelhouse, producing those rums. And Maggie, you could talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and just like Darin said, I'd love to have this versatile rum that you can enjoy while you as your first drink, or get-togethers while you kind of savor your more collectible stuff. So the more collectible stuff that we all know and love, that are more, what's the vibe I'm feeling tonight? What is the mood? What is the energy? What do I need now? A little more specialty, a little more boutique, a little more distinctive. I really responded to Darin's passion about having an American rum blend. That, there's all these iconic Jamaican rum blends, Smith and Cross, all these different brands. And, there isn't an American rum blend. And if you look at like a lot of the history of these different regions, the art of the blend is really important. And there are so many amazing producers in our community, in the continental American distilling community. Darin mentioned some of them: Porch Jam, Sugarfield, Oxbow, Lion. You guys know there's tons of them. Sorry for anyone I'm leaving out. I love you and you know it. Um, there's so many great ones. There's even one in the Sonora Desert. I had blind tasted once. It was like incredible. And like, there's just such cool stuff going on that we would love to put together a blend of American producers that captures this moment in history. In 200 years, when they write the next Imbibe and they're writing about this Renaissance, like, what are those stories going to be? Like, we want that in a glass. So that's something Darin and Chaz are super passionate about and got me really excited about. It's something I had never considered myself, right? But so hopefully the next phase will be partnering with some great distilleries to bring something like that to life. Maggie's Farm, I didn't say. I love you, Tim. Even though we get confused for each other all the time, I love you.
Montana's done great stuff for a long time.
Yeah. I'm loving the new crew at Montana. I'm super stoked for them. And yeah, there's so many I could just list forever. But yeah, so I think we'll do some cool stuff then. And then Chaz, do you want to talk about phase 3, building the distillery and the American cane, working with farmers and all that?
Dad, did you have something you wanted to add to that? Awesome. Yeah. And then, phase 1, phase 2, we're going to have this amazing, accessible, value, delicious rum in phase 1. We're going to move on and make this amazing blend of American rums in phase 2. And then finally, in phase 3, we're going to execute, what is really all of our, favorite part about this whole business idea and kind of the end goal, which is to build our own distillery in Louisiana, in the heartland of cane, where you should make rum in this country. We're going to distill cane juice rums. We're going to distill molasses rums. We're going to make everything, blend the two. It's going to be an amazing celebration of all that American rum has to offer. And part of that is going to be reflecting the community that we're in. So being a part of Louisiana, incorporating that, Louisiana rum making identity into everything that we make, giving back to the community in however many ways we can, building a rum culture in the United States, kind of based around where we are in the country, turning Louisiana into, as Darin loves to say, the next great spirits state after Kentucky and Tennessee. So that's phase 3. We're super excited about it.
And there's so many different communities here, and everyone's hands come together in the sugarcane and in rum and in production and in agriculture and in food and beverage, community throughout this region. And I think it's really cool. And it's kind of really exciting for me to see that contribution from so many different communities, and the fact that everyone really does live together and share together here. I think it's going to be exciting for the rum style. And Louisiana still has smaller farmers, and some black-owned cane growers and crane growing operations, and some different opportunities to do some cool collaborations. So we're really excited for that. But as we build a new business, as Darin said, it's a challenging time. So I think we're going about it pretty smartly, building pretty slowly, establishing ourselves, getting to know the market, putting out something that we're excited about, but it helps us connect to a lot of people. Then as we sort of slowly and sustainably put the project together, I don't know how much you guys are watching like the production side of the market, but there's a lot of ambitious projects in the last few years that are really struggling right now because the capital outlay all at once. I can't tell you how many times people have built a massive distillery and then hired me to say, oh, actually, we've met our consumers. They prefer this. How do we get these flavors? Oh, well, we're going to have to replace your fermenters. We're going to have to do this. So, getting to know people first, getting an idea of what it is, and then we can just build it properly the first time with like a strength below us and a good foundation. I think that's going to get us to the final vision of where we want to be in the best possible way. It's easy. It sounds wild, but it's easy to run at just like, oh, I just want to make cool stuff instantly. The hardest part is building the smart business behind it. And this has been really enjoyable for me with Darin and Chaz. I think we all really see things similarly and wanting to build it really strong so that it's very lasting. And so that's sort of this phased approach. So hopefully, time goes so fast, right? But hopefully in 27, we're back here talking about, running fermentations.
Yeah. And Maggie, I'll just add on to that. I love the phased approach. I think it was the right play for us. And I specifically really like phase one. I'm excited about, as a young person, I'm excited about bringing a rum to market that people in their 20s are going to be able to, afford and love and use in all their drinks, and experience the versatility and variety and diversity of rum. I know so many people my age that don't have, access or understanding to how great rum is, and they only know whiskey or bourbon or tequila. And I'm just like, I'm ready. I'm so excited to show them the rum that we make.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for that measure, the measure twice, cut once approach, right? And it just the fact of you're starting from the way that you are of having something that's affordable, approachable, that will really help perpetuate, get eyeballs, obviously get the rum community that loves all of you guys and all of that, but starting there and then getting into more bold and ambitious projects. I mean, because we've seen, other, whether they're bottlers or whatever, come out the gate and say, we're only doing cask strength single barrels. And, that's great. But trying to explain to somebody that only thinks of rum as Captain Morgan, and then you're going to say, oh, this is a 64% cask strength from the Foursquare Distillery in Barbados. That means nothing to these people. So that's super exciting, guys. I mean, I'm already like, let's go. What do you need from me? Shut up and take my money.
I'm glad you feel it. I'm glad you feel it, because I think that's an important thing Darin talks about, is like the reach, really wanting to really change rum consumption, really be an open door, really be something that welcomes people in. And I think when people see a $25 bottle of rum, they might be like, but hopefully they taste it. I think we've made a good blend. We've got some good experience with that. And they taste it and go, oh, actually, that's good. Like that, that's all the energy we need behind us to fire those engines.
And Bryan, how,
Absolutely.
how do you define, what's big and bold? Like, I think we think about what's big and bold in rum is like doing this cool, like, you know, esoteric kind of, rum that 200 bottles are going to be sold, right? And that we're all going to love. But
Mhm.
I think what we feel like is big and bold is actually trying to disrupt the space a bit, right? And really tie a brand to modern messaging, modern packaging, create like an emotional connection with a broader group of consumers, and really grow the category.
Mhm.
I keep thinking about like, and I think you guys talked about it in the episode with Steve McGarry. You were like, we got this education process that we got to go through. And you're doing it, right, Bryan? Like one room at a time, one customer at a time. And I think about that phrase that we have, like each one teach one. We want like each one to teach 50,000. We want to create like a movement, right? Like how do we get this party started so that people really like emotionally connect with the brand and with rum, because we're preaching to the choir when we put out a lot. Like American Cane is going to do that, right? We're going to make these amazing rums that are going to be the best rums in the world, but not necessarily accessible rums to the broader community that we really have to impact. And the way that we're going to, so we all know there's like 500 to 700 rum makers in the US, something like that. Like 100 of those are rum distilleries that just focus on rum, and like a handful of them do more than 5,000 cases a year. Like literally a handful.
Yeah.
And so that's an amazing group of distillers who are passionate, doing amazing products. But like, how do you break through with a brand that can do more and that can reach more, right? That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So I guess the first part of the big and bold, I just think about specifically like the events that I host and the tastings that I do. Like I'm not going to start somebody with a 21-year-old Coroni that's never tried rum by themselves. I mean, I tell everybody too, it's like my goal is to get people to want to drink and sip rum by itself. And so that you have to start with where people are at. Most people, it's Kraken, Captain Morgan. Then it's okay, let's go Diplomatico, Florida Cognac, Don Q, Chairman's Reserve, Dorley's, Worthy Park, Hampton, and then you can go up into the higher proof stuff and end with some unaged juice stuff. That's kind of the journey that I like to take people on. Juxtaposed to big and bold is what you guys are doing, and you're wanting to break the cycle of Maggie touched on this, and we all know these, the mythical sea creatures, the pirate captains. And, every time I'm either working behind the bar at an event and someone R's at me, I just have to my eye twitches and I always have to be like, okay, so then I get to go tell the story about the British Royal Navy and the grog and the rum ration and all that. But I think it's meeting people with where they are. And so you have to start, and anybody who's asked for my 2 cents, and I don't know anything, by the way. I am a reformed software person that has only been in this space for, since August 2023 full time. So I don't know. What I can tell you, though, is that meeting people what they are, it's lower proof options, it's more affordable. And then you have to handhold them through this journey and show them what is possible. Not only just sipping, but hey, here are some amazing cocktails. And while I work at a tiki bar, I very seldom tell people to make tiki drinks at home. They're very complicated. You need 2 to 3 different rums. But as long as you have allspice dram, falernum, and orgeat, you're fine. But that's why I always just use, cherry. Oh. No disrespect, but not for me. But that's why I tell people hey, make a good old fashioned, make a good Boulevardier. And the one that I've been obsessed with that I never knew about because I came from the tiki world, it's Paper Plane. It's Amaro, Aperol, lemon juice, and an awesome spirit. So that's where it is. And I love what you guys are doing on focusing on approachable, affordable. And then when you build that recognition and that trust with consumers outside of the rum world, then you go and say, hey, we're going to get into more bold expressions. We're going to do higher proof. We're going to do, still proof cane juice or whatever. The other thing, and sorry to make this a monologue, is for you guys with American Cane, I have been telling Andrew forever, you got to lean into the revolution. You have to. And so that's what Darin, what I love about you is right out the gate, you're like, this is an American thing. There is nothing more American than being a rum consumer. And no one knows about it because I don't know if any brands here in the US, and granted, I only know a handful of the rum distilleries, right? But no one's talking about that history. I mean, John Adams, there should be no surprise that molasses was an essential ingredient in American independence. Yeah. And anytime I talk about the history of the revolution and how the Sugar Act of 1765 was one of the huge proponents of no taxation without representation because it was messing with people's pocketbooks, which is never a smart idea, but that's what propelled the revolution. And that story is lost, and everybody gets so fascinated. In which I'm like, go get and a bottle of rum. Wayne Curtis explains this much better than I ever could. Go do some research. Go learn about how the Barbados prime minister toasted with the American ambassador to this fact about America and Barbados drinking rum together and all of those things. So I think it's having a super strong story, acknowledging our roots, because even the most ardent of, I'm an American, I drink bourbon because that's American. You're going to get, hey, colonial, tricorn hat, revolution, independence, founding fathers, New England, the cradle of liberty, all those things that gets people's attention. And then when you can back that up with some amazing rum, which I'm already salivating at the expectation and anticipation of trying what you've put together, then you have a really solid story. But it's meeting people with where they're at and they're speaking their language. So anyways, yeah.
I love that. And we're here for the whole history of rum
100%.
And all of the meaningful contributions, the technology, the skill, the know-how, all of it. It's not just the people up front who are visible. There's so many people in the backbone of rum who
100%.
did incredible labor and ingenuity to make it what it is today. So we're here for the whole story of rum and the whole American experience. And I think this is a drink for everyone. And that it's for everyone is really important because not everyone wants a super strong drink all the time. I love my collectibles, and still I'll hang out with Gail Seal on the patio by the pool and have some Old Brigand, some club soda.
Oh, yeah.
And a squeeze of lime, and we're, two pretty hardcore rum people. So, there's a world of rum for so many different occasions and experiences. And I
Absolutely.
just hope that American King can be a part of all of it and champion everyone else who's also doing this great work really well. I think, rising tide lifts all boats, and I think it'll be good for the community and as a whole, and we're glad to be part of it. So exactly to your point, I think that there's such a great and long and rich story of contribution from so many places and so many moments in history that are iconic for this. So,
yeah. And it just the last thing to piggyback on the piggyback is just the diversity of rum So we've all heard I don't like mezcal because I don't want something smoky. I'm not going to drink an Isla Scotch because it's smoky. Now, there's Isla Scotches and mezcals that aren't smoky, but we'll leave that there. The whole point is, irrespective of what your palate is, there is a rum out there for you. And so I just love the diversity. I'm so excited. I'm here for everything that you guys are doing. And who better to really show Americans the diversity of the range? You're not doing things one way. I mean, obviously there's standards and things like that, but just being able to tinker and tweak and do all of that. It's a really exciting time. So yeah, I'm here for it. Shut up and take my money already.
Soon we'll give you that opportunity.
Just being with you guys being in Louisiana, as a kid, I still remember you guys mentioned the sense of community, but that was really came with the food culture there. I remember the amazing food culture. I mean, that seems to give you guys, I don't know, is there a way you're going to tap into that side of it with the food culture there in Louisiana, the French connection with your cane juice rum, anything like that that's sort of woven into your business plan?
I think you have to. I think it can't exist outside of food and culture. And, obviously in Barbados, that was a huge thing, rum and food. And because it isn't like this obsessive compulsive thing, it's such a naturally integrated part of your culture. So it is part of the community. It is part of the food. It is part of wasting time. Like wasting time out here, sitting on the patio, talking about nothing. In Barbados, we would call it liming, right? We're doing nothing right now. Like this is a time to do nothing. Don't pick up your phone. We're not talking about a meeting. We are doing nothing, and the waste and time culture here of like we're getting together. It's Saturday. We have the patio, the cooler's full of club soda and ginger ale and fresh juices. Like grab the bottle and a bucket of ice, and we'll sit out here and do a setup, which is what it's called out here. But yeah, with the food for sure, for sure, and that's been my number one way to connect with people since I moved here, and it's really interesting. My husband and I talk about like the Caribbean dust on our shoulder. It's the Caribbean people find you. And so a lot of the food we've had has actually been like, a lot of these traditional dishes as well. And it's been really great to see how like different elements of the country cooking like really pulls on rum. It's just a perfect match. I feel like for me, if I smell a bourbon and a rum, if you had them totally blind as a new consumer, the bourbon will smell of sweet character far more than the rum. Rum is, especially molasses, is very umami driven, and I feel like that contributes so much to food. It's like a little umami dash that just heightens all the flavors on the plate. So I'm really excited for some of the cool stuff we'll be able to do out here, community and culture wise.
Yeah, totally. I think, and it's kind of a tale of two focuses. I think if you can do this successfully, it gives you a leg up in kind of having a successful business, which is a local focus, but layered on top of a much broader kind of cultural focus, right? Because a lot of brands that come out struggle with being too local, right? Like, why does the distributor in the next state care about you if you're so locally focused that and then you have these barriers to your scale, that just lots of smaller distilleries, because distribution is such a difficult part of this business to get over that hurdle. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a focus that was broad, that was the whole American kind of community and culture that we're trying to represent and reconnect with rum. But that said, like, we're in this amazing place in Louisiana where this great local culture, amazing food, huge tourist population that comes into the areas where we're going to be, the whole Acadiana kind of Creole and all of this background that makes it a rich, interesting place to produce products and have a bunch of partnerships locally to do that and to work directly with farmers. I mean, a big part of what we were trying to get to was the best logistics for the business, coupled with the best raw materials that are available to produce rum, right? Coupled with amazing process and know-how that Maggie brings to the table. Like, you can kind of do it all in Louisiana and do it really authentically. And so that's kind of where we're driving.
Nice. You mentioned community again there. I love hearing that you're working with local farmers. On the other side of that, once the business is going, I think Chaz mentioned some community outreach or community, building projects. What do you have in mind there for the community once you're really up and running with the distillery?
Yeah, I mean it's tough because we're a long way out from that. We're still
Yeah.
trying to figure out how we get our rum imported here. There's still all sorts of things that we need to figure out first. But to me, I think the vision is, giving back to the community, bringing up folks in the community through our business. So, for example, we're going to have, hopefully, we'll have a tasting room. I'm really excited for that to be a part of our business. And in terms of who we're going to bring in to do the food for our tasting room, we've thought about doing pop-ups and having local folks come in and provide food for the tasting room, give businesses there an opportunity to get some business through us. I think it's really just all about bringing the folks up that we can, the local folks that are nearby, and utilizing the community know-how to help, make our product great, but also bring anything back to the community that we can.
Yeah, Chaz and I were talking about one of the products we're going to release, and we were talking about how we'd love for that to be synonymous with creating culture, film, music, stand-up comedy, local performers, and more broadly too, being involved in areas and spaces that are part of creative culture, and for us, I think that's really important. And then also pivoting back on, I think it's always important to take care of the people nearby. And I have 100 ideas about, food security locally and all sorts of stuff, but protection of waterways and all these things. But those are, more to come. So these are definitely things we're thinking about how to work well with these.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think we want to be a culture creator and a kind of culture rejuvenator and be champions of not only the local culture but also the rum culture and the American culture. So that's kind of what we're going for.
Yeah,
There's really cool stuff going on in Louisiana, just in around sugarcane and production. The Louisiana State LSU University, the Ag Center at LSU is like, there's a huge amount of science around sugarcane production, varietals that are produced in Louisiana. We already have connections that we're working on, there. And there's a pretty good partnership with LSU and the cane farmers as well as rum producers, which is pretty exciting. And we do plan to crush our own cane. So that's part of the process. We really think there's also this amazing opportunity it's definitely an education process. As we know, that's just a harder path to kind of get folks to understand and gravitate to those flavor profiles. But obviously there's beautiful rums that are made all over the world and in Louisiana today. I'm drinking one right now from Porch Jam. And so, I think there's opportunities to kind of dig into what makes the terroir of American rum as it's, through the lens in Louisiana. So that's a big part. I think once we get to that stage, there's just so much to explore and connect with in the cane and rum culture in Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much education that needs to go into just cane juice rums. So, for example, I didn't really think anything about the importance or how cool single cane varietals were until I met with the Kohana folks, or even Miriam down in Michoacan with Uruapan. And so being able to have some kind of on-site place and even making people crush their own cane, which I've done that. Let me tell you, it's not easy. Cutting cane, I did one stock and I was like, all right, so we're done, right? Meanwhile, I hear like growling and hissing in the field. I'm like, are we good? Am I good here? Are we good? But no, I mean, and it's really exciting. So I mean, and again, not to try and get too often into the weeds, but as you guys are analyzing cane, is there any thought of potentially isolating single variety? Again, that's like a way, way further down the line. But it's just the more that you go down this rabbit hole, the more you start realizing, oh, this varietal over here tastes super bubblegummy. This one's super salty. This one tastes like tropical fruit. So it's so wild. And I'm just so excited for you guys. I am so excited. I can't even sit still. Like, I'm so excited.
I'm excited too for also the molasses side of it. There's a lot of small family mills here. And, I'm pretty stoked for the quality potential there. And being able, I always say molasses is terroir concentrate. And believe me, I have been up to my elbows in the experience of growing sugarcane and making molasses. If anyone would know, it would be me. Molasses has a ton of terroir. I often joke that, we debate whether or not it does, but you ask any sugar mill manager and their number one concern is consistency. They're like, how can I have it be consistent? Because this field's like this and this field's like this and this year's like this and that year's like that. I need it to be really consistent. How could you make it consistent if you made it like this? Like, that's just proof right there, right? So I'm really excited about molasses and what's going on in the molasses world and potentials there. And I'm really excited. I mean, I love cane. They say sugar gets in your blood, and it does. Now that I've worked in sugar, I have such a love for my sugar industry peers. I was actually just texting with my favorite mill manager in the world today. I heard something very exciting, but I will let that brand announce their own news. So excited for them. Like this is like, aside from the rum production industry, the sugar industry is a huge part of my life, and it will always be now. I'll always be part of the sugar family, and so of course we're really passionate about the future there. And it's just inherent that growers who make fresh pressed sugarcane rums will grow different varietals that ripen to different bricks that have different aromatic profiles than producers who want to grow molasses cane. They're really, really different. And, you want higher brixing sugar in the cane if you're going to make molasses. So then you use less steam tons for boiling and less boiler energy. And so there's just all these different profiles that you want and you look at, and that's just inherently part of it. So I'm excited for us to be our little part of it as well in the future.
There's no shortage of amazing things that we're going to be able to kind of and path to go down to create these amazing products. Like, we can do that all day, right? Like, but I think initially the priority and the focus is like, let's grow the category. Let's
step by step,
right? Let's put a brand out there and that is the entree for what is America's premier kind of rum house. Like, let's establish that. You've got that at Appleton in Jamaica. You've got these other places. We're just missing that kind of house of rum. So let's get that out there. Let's get some core products out there. Let's start to shine a light on American rum and get people to notice it and care about it and respect it and use it and blend with it. And like, there's just this whole foundational piece, right?
Yeah.
That we're really going to tackle. And we're already making headway, and we already have this amazing team, and we have the brands, and we're close to bringing out the first products. Like, so that's what this is about first and foremost. And then we can go do, with Maggie at the helm, we can create all the amazing products in the world that like we're all going to fall in love with, right? So that are more specialty kind of stuff. So that's really where we're headed.
And I love that. This is that phased approach with a sensible roadmap, because we want to get our arms around this giant, but how do we do it well? And how do we do it lastingly? And how do we finally make this moment happen on a level that's just different than it's been in recent history? I love our local producers. I love the American producers, but we've had trouble like getting that breakthrough. And I want us all of us together to get that breakthrough.
It's a huge opportunity.
I think
so exciting.
Sorry, Darin. Sorry.
Oh, no, go over it.
I was just going to say, I think the other thing, and no intended disrespect to approaches of other distilleries, but there are a lot of places that distill rum where it's all flavored. And again, hey, like, if you like that, like, but I think having those where people default to a flavored rum, like, don't get me wrong, orange is great. Like, I love a rum orange. It's wonderful stuff. But here in the US, because of, massive brands that are from, USVI, let's say, they've kind of shaped this category that it's light, it's sweet, it's a cheap mixer. And then I think a lot of other distilleries that perhaps don't know better, or perhaps just trying to capitalize on the state, it's, here's a banana lime flavored rum, or here's insert, this is our spice rum.
Orange creamsicle.
Yeah, orange creamsicle, cannonball blast, orange creamsicle run with a slice of watermelon right in there. But no, I think that's one of the things, right? So categorically, I think it's amazing that you guys are coming onto the scene, and there's not enough American producers and American focus that are saying, we want to do rum. And again, if you want to have a flavored rum, if you want to infuse, if you want to do those things, fine. But too often, I think that's why, Scotch folks or agave folks don't necessarily default to rum, because I don't want a coconut flavored rum. I don't want a lime flavored rum, or I don't want a spiced rum.
And I think a lot of that is a symptom of the fact that we are not anchored in our own rum culture. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what we're all talking about.
Yeah.
Reuniting people 100%. With their heritage, ancestral American drink. And that's what I'm really excited for this first brand that we're releasing to do.
Oh my God, I'm here for it. I think it's also just wise that none of you are like clinical ADHD. Because oh my God, we could do this, we could do this, we'll do this,
we'll do that. For the masking compliment. I love that masking compliment.
That you seem very measured and approached, and I'm just like, oh, this is great. Let's just do this right now. Let's do it.
We have a founder for that.
Oh, that's you, Darin.
All with us.
They're constantly pulling me back, but
we're all balancing each other.
That's very good. That's very good.
I mean, just from this interview and seeing how the three of you just compliment each other, and just how it's such a cohesive story. I mean, just the teamwork is there. It's awesome. Just the synergy is cool.
It's amazing. It's like it's very heartening, and it's a little terrifying because it's like we're moving so fast. Like the efficiency we've been able to pull our ideas and project together with. I am like reviewing charts of like production with Chaz today. Like, oh my God, this is like happening so fast. Like it's great. Like everything's going so well. But I'm like, I'm very used to things moving a little bit more slowly, just like because of like life and business, and that's natural. But like we have just been. Even in our label design meetings, not to give too much away, we're all like, oh yeah, that's good. We're all in sync. And the designer's like, wait, you all agree? We're like, yeah, it's fine. We all agree. We all feel very passionately about the exact same thing. And it's just coincidence, like unplanned. So I've been really, really pleased at how easily everything has flowed. It's been really efficient and made us move forward very quickly.
Isn't part of it though that I just feel like we don't have there's nothing sacred, right? We're doing this all from scratch, like with this focus and this goal. So like we're not tied to anything necessarily. There's nothing holding up like getting where we're trying to go and making the decisions we need to make. Where lots of like heritage brands they've got a customer base, they've got like their own history that they're fighting against in lots of ways, and we don't have that.
Yeah, we're very free. Go ahead, Chaz.
I was going to say, we all three of us, Darin, you're still kind of in that environment, but all three of us come from, in the last couple of years, being in corporate kind of bureaucratic environments on some level. And just being able to do this, where we all feel a little set free and being able to just own this business and have a united goal of being a fresh player in the category and doing something new. So I think that kind of enables us to be super flexible and drive forward really quickly.
I mean,
to be really open to all ideas, all suggestions. We don't feel threatened or defensive or We're all like, yeah, let me think about it. Like we're all very open. It's very chill. It's been really good.
And I think it's so exciting. I know I've said that a million times, but you guys are all, the core goal is educating the consumer, elevating American rum, working with like-minded individuals. And the biggest thing is you're doing it, right? So many people talk about, oh, I want to do X, or, oh, one day I'll be blah, blah, blah. But no, you guys are doing it. And I'm so excited when we reconvene, hearing about all the learned lessons of, what you went in thinking, getting into it, all the learned lessons, all the exciting things. Just one question as far as from the distillery piece. Are you guys in the process of picking stills right now, or is that we're still in phase 1 and 2, or we're trying
we have a very clear idea of what we'll be building, pretty much all spec'd out. So I feel very good about that. So we're, like we said, we really have worked hard, and I'll give this a lot to Darin and Chaz, to get all the ducks in the row so that when the timing is right and when it's the strategic moment, we're ready to deploy. So it's really cool. Like we have many technical drawing, many a thing going. So it's very real. It's very real.
I was the idiot that everybody had to talk off the ledge, because I wanted to go straight for building a big ass distillery day one. and I was down that road some, and then people were like, well, this might be a better approach, and let's phase this, and let's get products out there. Let's get feedback on those products. Let's know what our focus is, what we want to lay down, like what the consumers want before we make that investment, right? So we don't have to redo it, or it's not successful once we put all that money into a distillery. So that was really a process of learning for me. And but I was coming to this idea and this mentality that, like, I wanted to change things. I wanted to do it quickly, and I saw the opportunity, but the question is how you get there kind of, smartly.
Yeah.
So I think we
But
ended up.
the beauty of that output is you and I already understand the exact,
We know what we're going to build.
we know exactly
Yeah,
the bottom
which is
shape of the
great.
fermenter we want and how many
We're
sample
the
ports.
outlook
And
window.
Which is amazing, because then it's just, okay, we're here,
Yeah.
we're here. And that's just, it's great. It's great. It's great. I mean, we're talking about like the here and now. So, but like long-term vision, like what is the overall like impact? Like, let's say everything goes according to plan. How do you see American Cane household name? Is it, working with distilleries all over the country? Like, I would just love to know, like, everything goes right, which, let's face it, it will. But just what's the lasting impact of, obviously shifting consumers and Americans and getting people to reach for the bottle of rum first, but just perfect world. What does the future look like with you guys checking off all the goals? Everything's done according to how you planned it.
And I'll start. I think my answer is really simple. I think these guys will have maybe more to say. For me, it really is just, I want people from their 20s to their 90s. When you ask them what is the American cultural drink, like what drink do you think of when you think of an American drink? And if they say whiskey, I'll be like, okay, but I want them to be able to say, yeah, rum, of course. If American Cane isn't here in 50 years, but somehow we still managed to create that kind of change in American drinking society, I would be super happy. That's my long-term goal.
Go for it, Maggie.
I would say I would love it to just be the expectation that you have American rum. Every bar that's expected to have a bottle of Macallan should be expected to have a bottle of American Cane. And I would love that.
Yeah. Now, I think we've created America's premier rum house, and we've reconnected Americans back to their cultural core spirit, which is rum.
Awesome.
While celebrating like the full image of what America is. It's not just, the caricatures we see in our mind when we think of that. It's a really rich picture, and I'm excited for that. And I think rum's part of that inherently.
But yeah, I mean, we touched on the revolution, which obviously, but then there's rum runners, there's everything in between. There's the tiki culture, which is a very American thing. But yeah, I mean, there's so much that I still don't even know about that you guys do, and you'll educate all of us, and it'll be great. Then we'll all know more, and then we'll all have all of our talking points on this is what this is. This is the identity of American rum. God, that is just so powerful. I'm like ready to do somersaults. Okay, I know I've been saying the same thing, but this is great stuff.
It gets better every time you say it. We love it.
Yes, please.
Oh, stop. And more, please.
The thing that's been most kind of heartening and enjoyable for me on this journey is the community, right? Like it is a very unique community, I think, in like the corporate world, particularly the rum community, globally, really, and in America, in our experience specifically. But like, what you guys are doing, what we're all doing to kind of drive this and support each other, and we would not be where we are today without a bunch of those distilleries that I just mentioned, and people who are like willing to help me get educated.
Yeah.
Podcasts like this, and other podcasts that like accelerated my education, because you guys talk to everybody who knows what I needed to know, right? To kind of understand where the market was, where the opportunities were, how we should come to market. So, we appreciate what you all are doing, and thanks for the opportunity, to talk about all this, and just it's so much fun to be part of the community, and and we've been kind of behind the scenes part of the community. And the exciting thing is we're going to kind of step into the light a bit with our efforts and helping promote all this.
Yeah. I mean, and as has been said, right, it's the rising tide raises all boats. So it takes an army of us to have a united mission of elevating the rum category and getting its rightful place alongside all the other great sipping spirits. Rum has always been a great sipping spirit, but it's just breaking the mold. So welcome to, I mean, you guys already know this, but welcome to being all your own versions of Sisyphus. I'm sure, Maggie, you have this a lot. Like Constantine and I talk about this all the time. Someday it's like you're basking in the sunlight and then you get dashed on the rocks the next day because it's like, I'm making a difference. No, I don't. Everything sucks and nothing matters. This is awful. But it's all about us just collectively working together. So you guys have an amazing mission, and just we're really grateful that you took the time to get us all evangelized and galvanized. I combine those two together.
I like it. Well, portmanteau. I like it. I like it. And thank you guys so much for inviting us to be here, spending your time with us. It's really cool. And like I said, Constantine, it's so good to see you again. It's been too long. And Brian, it's great to finally connect with you. Zan was like, oh, he's cool. I was like, okay, cool. We're cool. I was like, do you know Brian? He's like, oh yeah, he's cool.
I'll see Zan in Chicago. I love him. He is one of my favorite humans. He's heart of gold. He just loves me because I love Worthy Park.
And Worthy Park's amazing.
Oh my God.
We should all love Worthy Park.
I reclaimed the jingle because you remember Honeycomb's big. Yeah. So I haven't even told Zan this, but I've got everybody at the bar that I work at. So it's Worthy Park's good. Yeah. It's not bad. No. So now, like when we have safety meetings, so anybody not listening or anybody that's not familiar with bartender culture, a safety meeting, at least in our bar, is bartenders doing a little nice cheers together. Responsibly, of course, but now it's always either Worthy Park 109 or I'll bring in my single estate reserve or any of these any of the bottles. But anytime it's just Worthy Park, we don't have to say the jingle anymore. It's just yeah.
I love it.
It's so good. It's so good. Awesome. I guess last question, because I know we're at the final dregs of this, but this is the question for all of us. Constantine, you put this down about the desert island. Why don't you ask it?
Oh.
You're stranded on a desert island. You can bring one thing, and it's a bottle of rum. Which rum is it?
Oh, tricky.
And it'll last forever, by the way. It's an infinity bottle of the same thing that just refills.
Darin, you want to go first?
I mean, it's an easy one. It's a layup kind of. I mean, we're creating the rum that is that everyday rum, right? It's literally the bottle you would want on the island.
But if you can't pick your own, I'm gonna.
Yes, Maggie throwing her own curveball. Maggie throwing.
If that's okay. If that's
Absolutely.
okay, if it's okay for me to interject.
Can't be your own.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a good.
But I agree with Darin, of course. We've had the rum we're making. I think it would be perfect on a desert island. But other than your own,
I'm. So I really like I went to Barbados Rum Experience, which was just amazing, and hanging out with Gail and Richard and all of that team.
Better not be about to steal mine, but that's all I'll say.
I was gonna say he's gonna steal mine.
and for us, as you know, continuing to try to just get educated about the rum space and how to have a successful rum company. Like they're doing so many things well, and have lots of different price points of rums and lots of different brands that play different roles. So it's probably a layup to say that they're a great producer and that you like their rums, right? But yeah, I mean, going from Alan Arthur, right? Which like $12.
I know.
And it's like it's freaking good, right? Like for $12. It's like what?
I overlooked that so many times at Total Wine. I was like, that label looks it's $13. It must be cheap, it must be bad. And then I finally picked it up and I went, Foursquare.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try it. And then a son of a nutcracker.
Yeah, exactly. To Old Brigand, to and then to I was one of the rums that we can't even get in this country. I got a bottle from Italy after I came back from Barbados Rum Experience called Absolucio.
Oh yeah, one of the Valier Foursquare collabs,
which is also it's like I think it's a port wine cask and bourbon cask mix. I mean, freaking thing is just so good. Anyway, so it's something in that range. I could probably drink Absolutio all day.
Okay. Chaz, how about you?
Yes.
That's good. I was gonna say Old Brigand, just because it's so good and it's so well priced and it's so versatile. And I thought he was gonna steal Old Brigand for a second. So when I thought that was gonna happen, I thought maybe it would be Appleton 8 year instead. But those are my two right there.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, Mount Gay Exo is a classic. Chairman's Reserve, classic. I would say my husband, he would pick that. And some of your folks will definitely know him. He's a really good rum distiller, and I know that would be his. And Foursquare, not only do I love their rums, I love them as a producer. I could not have survived Barbados without them. I will tell you, it was literally oh, here's our dentist. Go see our dentist. They just took care of me. They were absolute family. They were oh yeah, no, we really recommend this doctor. This is the place to go get the best sorrel. This is this is the guy with the best mangoes outside of St. Philip. They really took care of me. They were really family to me. So that'll always taste a little bit like home. But I feel like if there was one flavor that I would crave forever, it might not be what I would necessarily drink 24 hours a day, but if I couldn't get it, I would be wait, I can't get that. I can't get that. It would probably be the Worthy Park Single Estate Reserve, where it's just when I'm craving it, I just want to scratch that itch, the mouth-watering acidity on the end, the balance of I wouldn't want something too funky, right? It's funky and it's textured and it's layered, but it's not going to fatigue my palate. It's always going to stay fresh. And it'd be one of those but what do you mean I can't have it? But what do you mean? So I love it. It's a classic. Yeah. And it tastes like friendship.
Of all the bottles of rum, Maggie, you stole mine. That is straight up the one. But okay, if there's no repeats.
No repeats and you can't pick your own. I like these rules we're adding. It's
Damn
good.
it. So no raising glasses full circle. No, but you know what? The only thing to add to the Single Estate Reserve for me, there's such an evolution on the palate. And for a while, I went from sweet to I only drink cask strength. And then it was I only have high ester. And then I can always go back to that Single Estate Reserve because there's such an evolution on the palate. it starts bright tropical fruits, baking spices kick in, and there's an insanely long-lasting finish. And the best thing for anybody that's well, I only drink 60% plus. I'm try this. And it's that's amazing. Okay.
It has that mineral snap to it.
Yeah,
also.
100%.
Yeah. I'll let you do raising glasses. We haven't that's their bottling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I still worked on the blend, so I can't pick that one.
Oh, but it's not your own. You're right.
Looking around,
I make
so
the
much
worst rules.
pressure. Shit.
Constantine, go. Bryan,
Constantine, help me.
I get mine is easy. Mine's been the same for years, and I'm really bad at these questions usually. My daughter is always Dad, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite food? And I can't do individual favorites on most things, but on this one, I always just go back to Nason, the BO 52.5.
Oh yeah,
I find is just
yeah. You can't go wrong there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got mine.
Got it.
I don't know why it took me so long. I was just under the gun. Savannah Le Must.
Oh, wow.
Savannah is fan-freaking-tastic. I got this bottle on a whim because it's not available in the United States. Yeah. Molasses-based, this is unreal. If you've never had anything from Savannah, you are absolutely missing out in your life. The Lait Absolute, which is French for they have it in we don't get it in the US. It's such a pain in the derriere. I'm bugging Eric K or Mike Streeter, import Savannah. Just do it. Come on. But it's absolutely fantastic stuff. And anyways, that would be mine.
And Bryan, you're in LA, right?
Yeah.
Have you hit up Ryan Gilberti?
Yeah.
Harass him. I love his little growing import distribution business. Shout out Ryan, you're badass. Like bringing cool stuff. Yeah.
And just totally like just jumping off into it. It was just like, again, another classic example of just do it. Just do it. So yeah. Ryan and I were together. I helped him facilitate his first sale into Kanya Rum Bar of the Full Circle. And then John and Lori are going to be out for my rum summit.
That's right, because he does raising glasses. Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Shout out Ryan.
Don't ever host a 500 person event. You will absolutely lose years off of your life, just for what it's worth. But yeah, Superlative Spirits, check them out. Super exciting stuff. He has some other brands that are coming in. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, so I'm not going to say anything. I actually don't know. I haven't asked him. So there's other amazing brands that he's going to be pulling in. I know John and Lori also finally got Renaissance into the United States. So hooray for
shout out John and Lori.
Shout out John and Lori. Wait, we need to have Tyler post in some of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to close this out, guys, I know we're right about at time. I want to be respectful of your time. Best way for people to get in contact with you all collectively, individually, where's the best way to follow along, reach out, ask questions, all those things?
Chaz.
That one. So you can follow us on Instagram. That's our main social media platform right now. We're at American Cane. You can go to our website, americancane.com. If you're interested in getting on our mailing list, there's a pretty easy to find form there. If you're interested in investing, being a part of American Cane, feel free. There's another form there. Feel free to send us a message. And yeah, that's what we got. We're super excited to expand our website, social media portfolio as time goes on. But currently, that's what we've got. So definitely go visit us.
We're actively raising an angel round right now. So there's opportunities if folks are interested in jumping on board and being part of the momentum that we're creating. AmericanCane.com is probably the best place to do that. And there's a form where you can show your interest there.
Yep. Ooh. And I'm pretty easy to find at Half Pipe Maggie. I'm like obnoxiously accessible. I actually just went to New Orleans for a big tasting group, and the guy was like a fan from Boston, was like, "Oh, I live in New Orleans now. Do you want to meet up sometime?" And boom, I'm there at the tasting group having a good night. He's like, "I just messaged you on the internet. I didn't think you'd like get back to me." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, we're eating jerk chicken in the park. What are you talking about?"
That's the rum family,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm obnoxiously accessible, but like Darin said, we've had a few rum geeks come on as partners, and that's been extra fun for me. We have people who aren't big into spirits. They just see the business opportunity, and that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that belief, but it's been a little extra special to get some rum folks in, send them samples, get their feedback, bounce ideas off of them, things like that. So yeah, it's been cool.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you guys again. I really appreciate you having us.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all. Everybody, I don't know we have a next episode lined up yet. We're working on it. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for listening. And we'll see you next time. That's a new one.
Bye.
I love it. Thanks, guys.